Have you ever heard of Star Wars ring theory? It's this theory brought forward by Mark Climo on how Star Wars prequels reflect the original trilogy and how each movie corresponds to one another. Or as George Lucas says it,
again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
I'd highly recommend reading about it. It's actually quite interesting. And whether you like this structure of storytelling or not is up to you. It's unique, but I can get why a lot of people don't like it. Anyway, I am not going to talk about that. But I mention this because I wanted to discuss something fairly similar, and that's how Lucas structures the character arc for Anakin Skywalker, and how it's a darker, twisted reflection of the character arc for the original hero of the franchise, Luke Skywalker. I was originally going to do one video on this topic and discuss it across all 6 movies, but I kinda went down a film theory rabbit hole and this whole thing ended up being way bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I decided to split into 3 videos, focusing on 2 movies for each. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you've watched video essays on character arcs before, you'll probably be familiar with K.M. Weiland, who wrote the book Creating Character Arcs. In her book, Weiland talks about 2 character arcs: the positive change arc, where the character develops into a better person, and the negative change arc, where the character develops into a worse person. Broken down, both change arcs have 4 components: the ghost in the character's past, the lie that they tell themselves, their want, and their need. With the only difference between them being that while one is about shedding their lie, the other is about developing it. So in the original trilogy, Luke goes through the positive change arc, learning to become a better Jedi and a better person, while in the prequel trilogy, Anakin goes through the negative change arc, or more specifically, the corruption arc, which Weiland actually uses Anakin as an example for in her book. The first time we meet Luke and Anakin is in The Phantom Menace and A New Hope. In these movies we get to see how their ghosts, their wants, and their lies are developed. Luke and Anakin start off in very similar circumstances for their respective trilogies. They're both annoying young men who believe that they're destined for something greater.
It just isn't fair. Oh, Biggs is right. I'm never gonna get out of here.
There's so many. Do they all have a system of planets? I want to be the first one to see them all.
But can't work on those ambitions. This is where their want is established. According to Weiland, the thing your character wants will almost always be something external. He's trying to salve his inner emptiness with exterior solutions. In the case of Luke and Anakin, their want is to achieve greatness and glory, something that seems impossible until a Jedi comes into their life and gives them an opportunity to achieve their dreams, acting as a father figure that they never had. Luke learns from Obi-Wan about his father and how he was a Jedi Knight.
I wish I'd known him. He was the best star pilot in the galaxy, and a cunning warrior, and he was a good friend.
Sparking Luke's desire to become like his father, while Anakin discovers Qui-Gon's lightsaber and tells him how he's dreamed of becoming a Jedi.
I had a dream I was a Jedi. I came back here and freed all the slaves.
Both see becoming a Jedi as a means to achieve their want, which results in them leaving their home and meeting a group of people that will be important to their future. Finally, their want will be achieved. But unfortunately, Luke and Anakin lose their father figure to a Sith Lord. Luke loses Obi-Wan to Vader, and Anakin loses Qui-Gon to Maul. And this is their ghost that will haunt them. According to Weiland, ghost is movie speak for something in your character's past that haunts him, and losing Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan will definitely have an impact on Luke and Anakin's future. They have lost a person that has helped put them on the paths that they are currently on, the person that they see as the epitome of good, to characters that they now see as the epitome of evil. This gives them a drive to protect the ones they love and strengthens their belief in the concept of good and evil, that it's basically black and white, which sounds fair and honorable. Until it's not. The movies then end with both characters being able to prove themselves as heroes by destroying an enemy base in space. And being commended for their actions, which is great and all. They should be commended for being a key part in defeating their enemies. However, these events help develop the lie even further. They now believe that might makes right, that the line between good and evil is pretty straightforward, and that they can continue to help more people by becoming more powerful. So Luke and Anakin start and end their first movies in a similar fashion. This all seems quite clear cut, right? They're the exact same story? Well, not exactly. There are some key differences that set both characters apart in the long run. For example, Luke's reason for not acting on his ambitions is due to feeling an obligation to his aunt and uncle.
I'm not going to Alderaan. I've got to get home. It's late. I'm in port as it is.
Pretty standard stuff. Anakin can't act on his ambitions because he's a slave, and he can't run away or he'll die.
All slaves have a transmitter placed inside their body somewhere.
Any attempt to escape,
And they blow you up. Boom!
So unlike Luke, he has no choice, and this is key because Anakin is more used to being looked down on than Luke, making him more resentful of people above him. We see this with Watto, Sebulba, even fellow kid slaves.
Come on, let's go and play ball. Keep racing, Annie. You're gonna be Bug Squad.
God, they're mean. And when Qui-Gon brings him to the Jedi Council, even they look down on him.
I sense much fear in you.
He's 9! And in the end, they say they won't even train him. And Anakin scowls at Mace Windu and is resentful towards him. Another authority figure telling him he's not worthy. Wyland even mentions this in her book. When the Jedi Council briefly threaten his dream, we see the hold the lie is already coming to have over him. And this lie and resentment will build with each movie until finally... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Luke never really receives a lot of the pushback Anakin gets on his journey. He's usually surrounded by a supportive group of people, friends who care for him and actually want him around. Anakin doesn't really get that. Instead, he's lumped with Obi-Wan, who only wants to train him out of a moral obligation to his dying master, not because he likes him. He even shows that throughout the movie. He keeps saying he doesn't like Anakin. This is not a good environment to be in. This is not a good relationship. Another key difference is that Luke leaves Tatooine because there's nothing left for him there. Originally, he felt like he had to stay on his farm with his aunt and uncle. It's only when he discovers their highly flammable bodies that he makes the decision to leave. While this helps solidify his resentment towards the Empire and pushes his desire to get back at them, there's really nothing left for him on that planet. Anakin, on the other hand, does have something to go back to. He leaves his mother there, because Qui-Gon was only able to free him and not her. This is something that bothers him throughout his whole Jedi training. He still has that attachment and carries that guilt with him, something that the Jedi sense and look down on, not being supportive at all. Again, building that resentment he has for them. Anyway, so while these movies have their highs and their lows, well, one of them more than the other, both do a good job of setting their main character up for their character arcs. Their wants, wounds, and lies are very well established. And yeah, Phantom Menace stumbles a little bit in its execution. I honestly believe if they kept Maul alive for all 3 movies, it would make more sense and give Anakin that rival relationship that Luke has with Vader. I don't really blame Jake Lloyd for this. He's no worse than a lot of child actors of that era. I think if they aged Anakin up more, they could have gotten a better performance, and maybe this wouldn't come off as creepy.
It'll bring you good fortune.
It's beautiful. But I don't need this to remember you by.
He's still 9, but I do believe Anakin's character arc is off to a good start. It has a lot of callbacks that reflect Luke's character arc, with plenty of differences that help separate him from Luke, and foreshadow his downfall. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. This is the first in a 3-part series. Next week I'll be discussing how Luke and Anakin's arcs progress in Attack of the Clones and Empire Strikes Back. Will Luke face and defeat Vader? Will Anakin learn to get over his authority issues? Why am I doing this bit? You've seen the movies. But if you want to see those videos, please subscribe, leave a like, hit that bell icon. I'll put links for K.M. Weiland's book and Mark Climo's Star Wars ring theory in the description, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good day.